You will notice we set the created at, updated at, and last replied at fields on the object types to return a string instead of a timestamp. This is because GraphQL does not have a built-in scalar type for DateTime, so we need to define it ourselves. We will define a custom scalar type called DateTime. We are going to define it inside the root.js file. To define a scalar type, we start with the keyword scalar, then the name of the scalar type, which will be DateTime. Next, we need to add the implementation logic of how the DateTime scalar type will work. So we create a new file inside the resolvers directory, which we'll call DateTime. First, we'll pull in GraphQL scalar type and kind from GraphQL. Then we export an object. Then we create a new instance of the GraphQL scalar type. Then we define the name of the scalar type, which will be DateTime. Then we can give it a description. DateTime scalar type. Every scalar type is expected to implement three functions, which are pass value, pass literal, and serialize. Both pass value and pass literal are used to get value from the request, whereas serialize is used to send value as response. Since in our case, the timestamps fields will be auto-generated at the point of insertion in the database, so we should be fine with just the serialize function. The function accepts a value as argument, which will be the value coming from our database in our case. So we need to convert it to date. Then we return the date as a string value in ISO format. And that will be all we need for our API. But we won't stop there, because we want to make the DateTime scalar type as generic as possible in case our API grows and we need to accept date values from the request. So we will add the implementation logic for the pass value and pass literal functions. The pass value function accepts a value, and we simply convert the value to date, which will be inserted into the database. The pass literal also accepts an argument, which is in form of AST, which stands for Abstract Syntax Tree. Then we check if the AST kind is equals to integer. If true, we pass the AST value to integer. Since the AST value will always be in string format, otherwise we will return null. Now we can update the type definitions to make use of the DateTime scalar type. This will be DateTime. Then this will be DateTime. date time. Finally, we will update the index.js file inside the resolvers directory. First, we'll pull in the implementation for the scalar type, which will be DateTime. Then we export an array containing the DateTime.